Welcome to Eggcellent Adventures, where I, your host Reec Swiney, take a step away from my duties as a radio and TV personality and give you a first-hand look at my other love, BlackYard Chickenz and Homesteading. Take a listen to conversations I have with others who are in farming, homesteading, and connected brands. And some of those conversations go a little like this.
She does say I have too much, though. She says I have too many, but I don't think I have enough.
The chicken math started mathing.
Yep, it's never ending.
I only started with like 4 laying hens. Now I have over 100 chickens and geese and quail.
So the first question we ask everybody that comes on to the Eggcellent Adventures, what was your old cluck moment?
The first thing that comes to mind is when the first time I got locked inside one of my own chicken coops.
We talk about the highs, the lows, and everything in between. Now let's see who's on this episode of Eggcellent Adventures. All right, we back at it with another Eggcellent Adventures podcast. I'm your host, Reec. We have a very special guest, the queen of compost. This lady just knows what to do when it comes to like small space gardening. She's got chickens. I see you got quail. That's the next thing on my to-do list is to get some quail. Without further ado, let's go ahead and introduce Miss Asia P, coming to you live all the way from the Yellow Door Urban Homestead. What's up, Miss Lady? Are you in like the Maryland, Virginia area or something like that?
I'm in Virginia.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I spent some time in VA. It does get super cold up there.
So it's not as cold as like, up north, but we can get down into single digits every now and then, but it gets cold here.
Absolutely. We got to talk about that too, because I know that could present some challenges with gardening for the regular gardening folks. Now with folks like you got 2 green thumbs. Let's talk about it. Like, when did you first get into gardening and what came first, the chicken or the plants?
Okay, the plants came first because it was, 2020 when they were saying stay at home.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, well, I can stay home, but I can't stay inside of the home constantly. So I essentially started gardening in 2020 for my daughter. She eats very healthy and I do not. So when I go to the grocery store, I don't think to, pick up certain random vegetables. So I was like, oh, we can do that together. So that's how it started. The garden came first and I watched YouTube and I was like, people have chickens in their backyard. I was like, I want those.
I said, I want some of them. I got you. So what prompted your daughter to start eating, get on the health food kick?
So I think it's more of the way that she started out because when she was a baby, I made her baby food. Like that was a time where I did pick up vegetables because I was like, I'll make it instead of buy the jar stuff and the canned stuff. And so I think it's just kind of something that stuck with her because she's always eating fresh vegetables and fresh fruit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nah, that's pretty cool. So you basically you laid the groundwork per se for her to get busy out there with the healthy eating. Now she's eating healthy. You like, okay, let me jump into this with you. You start buying these fruits and vegetables and stuff like that. And what was the first one that you said, I'm gonna just go ahead and just plant my own? How did that kick off?
So me and her have always had a small garden. It was in a spot where it wasn't getting a lot of sun and I didn't know about gardening. So we did it as a project for me and her. But tomatoes were my first thing.
Okay.
And it's amazing, like the different varieties and how you get a different taste. Because I didn't really eat tomatoes before, but they look different. And it was just, they look cool. And I was like, oh, I want to try different varieties. So that's where we started.
Tomato. See, I don't eat tomatoes either, but that feels like if I grew them, I probably would.
And I think you would. There's so many varieties that taste so different. And you're like, oh, this is what tomato is supposed to taste like.
See,
what you're getting out the grocery store is not it.
See, that's why I just feel like I'm just like eating some red juice. It doesn't even like red water. It don't taste like anything.
If you ever go to like a farmer's market, look for a Cherokee purple tomato. It will change your thought on tomatoes. And so we think what we get out the store, it's like this acidic juice, essentially, is what it tastes like. But there are sweet tomatoes. There are tomatoes that don't have the acidity. Like, you gotta try a different tomato that's not from the store.
Okay, so you said purple Cherokee tomato?
Purple Cherokee. turkey. Yeah.
Okay. Now I feel like I know something. This is what this podcast is for. I feel like I can tell somebody something. Let me mark the time on this.
Yeah, it'll
right?
change your mind.
I got you. So with the small garden, and then you start getting into it, and you start growing stuff left and right. You've gotten into composting and everything. I watch your videos. I'm like, man, this is amazing. There's a quick backstory. Like I met you through. We were both on a campaign kick together for about. For a few months with chicken food feed, and I was introduced to you that way, and I just kind of fell in love with your content. You're so responsive, like to the people asking questions and stuff like that. I think that's cool. Like, what's been your kind of perspective on social media?
So it can be a lot. And if you only started as a way to like share, maybe meet a few people, have someone to talk about something that you're interested in, and it turns into much more than you expected, it can be overwhelming a little bit. If I'm honest, I always try to keep it honest. It can be a bit overwhelming, and I also work a full-time job, a very time-consuming full-time job. And so I'm trying to balance it at this point, because I want to be responsive. I want to make sure that my subscribers and followers know I appreciate them. It's kind of a lot to juggle, but I do enjoy it. I love sharing. I love talking to other people because, I have friends, they're not into gardening, and I will be talking to them and they're just like, oh, okay, cool. Right. Same thing with the chickens. They're like, oh, okay, cool.
Right. It's like, I love getting into a room and somebody actually wants to talk about chickens.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, man. I'm at the radio station talking to folks about music. I'm like, would somebody please ask me about some eggs?
Right.
Right, man. I found some of the people I've gotten connected with on social media have been extremely helpful. Kind of becomes that community that you could talk to. Have you found the same thing?
I have. And so when I got into quail, like I had two people that reached out and they were like, I raise quail, or I have a friend who raises quail. So if you have any questions, just reach out, DM. I've had, phone conversations with some of the people that I've met. And so I do think that you find your community, especially in this niche. Like you find a community because everybody is wanting to help. We're all kind of learning because it's no one right way. And so I think that you definitely find a community within the gardening and homesteading community.
True. That's very true. Have you converted anybody? You turned some other people onto the green side?
So yeah, my mother is now growing a garden. She has a small garden that I help her with. She doesn't grow through fall and winter, but she does summer. My aunt grew tomatoes in a pot for the first time this year. I have a friend who does not like outside, but I kind of brought her into like hydroponics. You can grow inside.
Yeah.
So yeah, because I'm always talking about it.
Right. That's the move. But I think that's a really good way to kind of share your experiences and get people on a different side of health kick, as well as just being self-sufficient. Because you never know. We had that shutdown. Nobody was expecting that. Like, nobody thought we wouldn't be able to go to a grocery store. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, and that was a whole little situation. Like going to the grocery store and not being able to get more than 1 or 2 packs of meat, that was a situation. So that's kind of what made me say, okay, quail, because for me, in my space, it's a sustainable way to have meat. So yeah.
Gotcha. That makes plenty of sense. A whole lot. You got chickens too. I see you got some beautiful chickens. I see your copper marin started laying. You got some nice egg coloration. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. I was so excited. I was like, oh, because we have black sex links, and the it's actually a majestic marin.
I just got one of those.
A majestic one? Oh yeah. I like my daughter kept saying, I'm pretty sure that's the same chicken. That's a black sex link. I was like, it better not be, because it's supposed to lay a different color egg. And it just took, I guess it took a while to start laying, because the rest of them have been laying. And so when I saw that, I was so excited. I was like, oh, it is a majestic marin.
Right. No need to return.
Right.
Nah, that's cool. What was your cluck moment? That's the moment that you knew, okay, I am a garden lady. I'm a chicken mama. I'm really all the way in this thing. What was that moment that made you see that you really doing it?
Okay. Honestly, I think it was there. I'm so sorry.
Nah, you
My
good.
daughter is coming home from school.
It's cool. This is real. This is a real life podcast, so those things happen.
Okay, good. So I'm like, there's so much going on in here right now. I think it was when, and I essentially had already had them. I was already raising them. But honestly, it was when I was able to supply like my mom and my sister with eggs. And I was like, oh, this is like I can help other people. Even though it's not a large group of people, I still have the ability to help. And I was like, yeah, I'm doing this. I feel like I'm always gonna have chickens. And they're so, I don't know, they have personalities. And you wouldn't think that. And they've also started to be like, well, it's been a while now because I've had them for almost 2 years. So they're used to me and they come up to me and I'm like, how do they even know this? They know that when I come in here, I'm going to throw some treats. Or if I get down to check the quail, they're all right there. And I'm like, I think they like me.
I think they do too. I see some of your videos. You like, look at my stalkers. They so annoying.
They are stalkers, but at the same time, it's like, I think they realize that like, I'm here for them.
Absolutely. I mean, we
yeah.
had a Purina scientist. He was saying that they could recognize up to 100 faces. So they definitely know you or your daughter. They know y'all.
Okay, cool. I did not know that. That's one thing I didn't do a lot of when I got them either was research. So I'm still learning them every day. I'm still learning them.
We all are. What's some things recently that you learned that you picked up on the chicken, and then we'll talk about the quail next too, because I want to get into that, and I know some people will find that interesting. So, what's some things you learned recently about chickens?
But first of all, the malting thing, it always makes me nervous, always. And so I'm getting more comfortable because I'm like, I'm sure it's a malt, but it could be something else. So then I start reading books. And I mean, it's just normal. The malt is normal, and I don't have to worry about it every year. Because last year was the first time the older chickens malted, and I was so worried. And then my Brahma, who seems to be much more fragile than the rest of them, she started malting already this year, and I was like, well, nobody else is malting, it's a malt. Yeah. So I'm learning that like you don't have to be so I guess helicopter with them. You like helicopter mom with them because they're very hardy, you know. And when I originally got them, I was like, how am I gonna keep them warm in the winter? And with the community on YouTube, they were like, you don't need to do much. Just, you know, they were like, maybe give them a little scratch frame, put a little bit of extra bedding, and they were fine. So just learning every day that, and I think because there's so much information out, you know, in social media, and people do different things, doesn't mean it's right or wrong, but you have to learn what works for your area. So I've just learned that I don't have to be helicopter.
We've reached that part of the show where we hook you up with some insider information. And this time it's some egg side information. Y'all know what I mean. Because people ask me all the time, how do you get your chickens so fluffy and healthy and happy? And their eggs are so bright, beautiful, and they taste delicious too. I would love to dedicate all those things to me coming in and having a great time in that chicken coop every day and shaking it up with those ladies. But the fact is, it comes from a healthy and balanced diet of Purina's Leina. That's the brand we use. Whether you've got laying hens and you want to go with the Purina Leina plus omega-3, or you got a bunch of baby chicks running around in your brooder and you go with that Purina Start and Grow Crumble, you can't lose. I know we haven't. So visit their website today, and in 3 easy steps, you can get discount coupons for the Purina product that's right for some great nutrition for your animals. I did it myself, and it only took me about 2 minutes. It's absolutely worth it. And to make things easier, we have the hyperlink on our website, BlackYardChickens.com. Just look under product of the month and you'll see the link right there to go and try your Purina Feed greatness. And through their trial program, they can pair you with the right nutrition and let you try it with your animals and see the results. Now, I can tell you all day how Purina Feed greatness has been absolutely phenomenal for my chickens, goats, ducks, and rabbits. But you can see for yourself. Go to BlackYardChickens.com. Now, let's get back to this week's adventure.
No, that's real. Like I practiced that deep litter method this last winter. It got really cold here in Georgia for some reason. Now our really cold is way different than like a Maine's really cold. They talking like below 30. Our really cold, it is freezing temperatures, but it's not anything, you know, too daunting. So we just put a little wrap around the bottom of the coop so the wind wouldn't blow through too heavy. We gave them some extra bedding and they were fine. We didn't need any extra heat source and anything like that. So, and I know those lamps get dangerous, so y'all stay away from those.
Oh yeah, I don't use the lamps at all. I don't even use the lamps for brooding anymore.
I see it use a plate.
Yep, that's what I'm using.
Yeah, we use a plate too. Shout out to Chick Cozy, they sent us a plate, so we about to get busy with that thing. I think I'm gonna do my first winter like brood. I'm gonna raise something. I don't know what I know it won't be ducks. I'm gonna tell you that.
Okay.
I did.
Do you have ducks now too?
Yes, I have ducks. I love the ducks, but the ducks are so messy.
Oh yeah, I've heard that. I have heard.
They are messy. They grow really fast. They're super really adorable. You can't have a bad day with being sitting in there with them, right?
Oh yeah.
But they messy, man. They make mud everywhere. I put a little kiddie pool in there. 10 minutes later, full of mud.
Oh wow.
And I'm not duck bashing all my duck folks. I'm just saying it's not my favorite.
Okay.
But I do want to talk about the quail. Then I want to get into the gardening and the composting and stuff like the quail. How did you get into that? Like, talk to me.
So, okay, I got into it essentially because I was like, I would like a meat source. Like I have vegetables, I have fruit, but I want a meat source. And so people will say like, you can do meat birds. It takes this amount of time, but I'm living in an urban setting where I am limited on how many birds I can have.
Yeah, you can't have 100 chickens back there.
Correct. And so the chickens that I do have, I mean, for us, they are pets and we use them for eggs. So of course, I don't want to use them as a meat source. Right. So I just started looking. Originally, I was like, okay, rabbits. But then as I did the research, I was like, I'm not sure when it's time to process, I would be able to do that.
They're too cute.
Right. It's like, how can I do that? And so I just started watching more YouTube videos and I came across My Shire Farm, and he explains things well, he shows it well. And I said, I think this could be our meat source. And in all honesty, like hatching them, originally it was the struggle. And I was like, I'm never going to get a flock. If you don't have a flock, you don't have eggs, you can't hatch. So that took a while to get used to and figure it out. But they mature in 8 weeks. Like you can process in 8 weeks. And so that's like, it takes 21 days for them to hatch and then they mature in 8 weeks. So you're looking at what, maybe 12 weeks and then you are processing. And they lay a lot. Excuse me. So you always have egg production, and then they're small, so you can have a good amount of them in a small space. Gotcha. And so that means you're going to get more eggs. So I said, I think this is what we're going to go with. And that's what we went with. And so far, it's been pretty easy. I have 5 total, 1 male, 4 female, and that's how I'm keeping it going. I'm brooding some now. We hatched out 14. We have 13 now. We lost.
Hold on now. Let me find out you're a professional hatcher now. That's not easy to do now.
Right. And I was so excited because I have failed at hatching probably 3 or 4 times. And when I say failed, like they hatched, but then they started to die. And I realized that's because I didn't leave them in the incubator long enough. So I'm learning every day. And it gives us something new to eat. It's not new to us now, that we wouldn't eat on a normal basis because you're not walking in the grocery store in an urban area anyway, finding quail.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, so how you processing these quail now? You doing it yourself? Are you taking it to a local butcher? What we doing?
I'm doing it myself.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm doing it myself. I watched a lot of videos, and I actually there is a I think her name on Instagram is homemade on the homestead, handmade on the homestead. She
Okay.
lives near me, and so she had a processing class for turkeys, and I said if I can do a turkey, I can do the quail. I already
Yeah.
had the quail at that point though. And I was
I
like,
got you.
if I'm gonna do it, so I went to one of her processing classes, and it doesn't ever get easier,
Mm.
but you do understand why, and you know how they were taken care of and things like that. So it never gets easier,
Mhm.
but I am processing them myself.
Okay, I get that. So it doesn't get easier to take them out per se, but you know why you're doing it.
Correct.
Right.
And you know that they, were taken care of. You
Mhm.
know their circumstances. You gave them a good life, and then
Mhm.
you appreciate them, as you do it. But it doesn't get easier. People ask that question all the
Yeah.
time, like, is it easy? And I'm like, no, it never
Yeah,
gets easy.
I think you harder than me. I'm too soft. I can't do it. I got to figure it out. I want to
Right.
do that. Like I'm excited about it. I was talking about maybe getting some turkey this year, early this year,
Mhm.
raising them, having fresh turkeys for my family. You know, we got a few different houses doing meals and stuff like that. Man, I'm
Mhm.
out there kicking it with a turkey, and I was like, yeah, I'm definitely too soft for this. I
Right.
can't
I'm
do it.
not gonna be doing that. I'm not
I
gonna
don't
be
think
doing
I can do it. But I can appreciate like the stuff that you post and kind of keeping people abreast of what's going on, no pun intended, you know what I mean? And then like you said, you took a class and they were able to kind of, you know, put you in the right direction as well. I interviewed Naya Matthews Brown, and she did the same thing. Like she does classes with her gardening and stuff like that. And she
Okay.
has a small homestead out this way. It's bigger than mine, but she has a something out this way, and they kind of teach. So that community is really really helpful, and it helps you get to the purpose quick.
Yeah, I think that everybody is most of the time willing to share, willing to teach. And I think
Hmm.
that's where, honestly, I feel like if we all kind of went back to that, it
Hmm.
like some of the health issues and things like that wouldn't be a thing. But, you know, it's a lot of work too.
Yeah.
So when you start growing your own food, whether it's vegetables or meat, it can be a lot of work too.
That's true. That's true. It is worth it though. I will say
It
that.
is.
Like even all the work I'm gonna do every morning with them animals, it's still worth it. You get a lot out of it. Even like the mental health benefits. Let's talk about that before we get into the gardening. Like how has that helped you, if any at all, mental health wise with gardening and with raising your own livestock or poultry?
I say it all the time. I will be in the garden by myself. Like I come to realizations, come to peace with things, just being out in the garden and I'm literally working, like I'm physically working, but it doesn't feel like it. And like the peace that you get just from being out there, you get grounded. I'm trying to work on, walking with no shoes on out there. I'm not doing
Hmm.
well with it yet. But
Me neither. You're not alone. I can't do it
yeah,
yet.
with your feet, to the ground and to the soil. I'm working on it, but
Yeah, I was raised. Put some shoes on before you go out the house. I still hear my grandma saying that in my head, so it's
right,
hard.
right. But it's a experience of it also helps you with I guess like what do you say? I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank for some reason. Anyway, with being proud of the things that you do, like you started out with a tiny seed and you actually grew food from it, so it
Yeah.
helps to be confident and proud of yourself too. Gardening gives a lot outside of just the food that you eat.
Mm. Let's talk about it. Since you brought it up, we gonna go all the way into it with gardening. You have some very lush fruits and vegetables out there. I see these big old, I don't know exactly what everything is, but I see cabbage and all types of stuff. Let's
Mm,
talk about kind of it's getting colder. What are you growing now? How are you growing it? And then I also want to talk about your hydroponic system because I saw you kind of getting into that recently too.
okay. So right now, the cold hardy vegetables, so brassicas, broccoli, cabbage, collards, kale, kohlrabi, which is my absolute favorite fall vegetable to grow. What else is out there? Swiss chard is out there, radishes, beets. I'm not very good at growing those.
Mm.
Turnips, rutabaga. That's all out there. Oh, and I'm growing, well, I'll be picking it tonight, but for the first time, I successfully grew ginger from like a piece of ginger from the store. So I'm so
Hey, turn
excited
up.
to harvest that tonight. So
Cool.
excited.
So you got some spices and everything out there. I heard you talk about growing that ginger and sprouting it and stuff.
Yeah, I'm super excited about that. And then there's a million different, not a million, but there's a lot of different herbs out there that, I've been what dehydrating all year. So
Mm.
now that the cold is coming in, we'll still have those herbs to use either medicinally or in cooking. So it's exciting. I enjoy it.
That
It's
definitely
really
is. Definitely is. And then when you move into the warmer side of things, what are some of the things you'll be replacing and kind of starting to grow? We've reached that part of the show where we hooked you up with some insider information. And this week, it's all about eating, pet, and pasture. And I got a 20% discount code for you. As farmers, we know the love and care it takes to raise happy and healthy animals. So choose the best when it comes to bedding, premium cut Timothy hay, and treats for your furry and feathery friends. So if you're looking for super absorbent hemp bedding or nesting pads for your laying ladies, look no further than Eaton Pet and Pasture. Check them out right now at EatonPetAndPasture.com, and first-time shoppers get a 20% discount by typing in Reec at checkout. That's REEC at checkout. Now let's get back to another excellent adventure.
so my summer garden is tomatoes, and I probably grow, I don't know, 40 tomato plants because there's so many different varieties, like I was saying earlier. Peppers, the same thing, because I don't like green peppers, but like the sweet peppers, love those. Cucumbers, tromboncino squash, which that's just like really fun to grow.
Mhm.
Um, I never have success with like regular squash because of the pest, and I don't spray and stuff. So,
Okay.
tromboncino squash, I always seem to be able to grow. The pests don't take the plant out.
Mm.
What else do I grow in the summer? It's a lot. I don't know why I'm not. Oh, green beans. Love fresh green beans.
Okay.
Sweet potatoes. I just harvested those a few weeks ago. So just, a lot of different options for summer. Summer, you have more options than fall, but it's all
Got you.
good.
You basically growing the whole Thanksgiving side dish
Yeah.
situation. You got the whole buffet going. You named
Yeah,
everything I
eat
love.
nine to
Just, that's awesome. But I know when it comes down to that, I know everybody looking at you like, what we got coming? What we doing, Asia? What we got coming
Oh, yeah.
to the kitchen?
Everybody definitely like, you growing collard? You know I'm growing collard.
Mm-hmm.
Which is so interesting because before I started gardening, I didn't eat most of the stuff that I'm growing. Like I
Mm.
definitely didn't eat collards. I did not eat kale. I had never heard of kohlrabi, and when I did
I
grow it, I
haven't
was just
either.
like, that looks cool.
Mm.
So I grew it. That's exactly when I grew it, and then it's a very delicious vegetable.
I've
So,
never heard of it. I got to look it up now.
oh yeah, you should look it up. And I mean, I don't eat it raw because it has an anise taste, but when I roast it,
Mhm.
it is delicious. It's my favorite fall. It has a taste of a broccoli stem, but it tastes like cabbage too. It's delicious.
Mm. Okay, that's a cool
Yeah.
little mix right there. I feel the same way about Brussels sprouts. I didn't grow them, but I got some fresh from like a local farm, and we
Mm.
roasted them. I was like, bro, this don't taste like the ones that they was trying to push on me as a child. These are
Nope.
different.
Yeah. They have a different taste when you pull it straight out of the garden and bring it into the house.
Definitely facts on that one. Talk to me about tomatoes. My guy AB that you were kind of talking to online a little bit. He was trying to grow some tomatoes. Could you give us like the grow tomatoes for dummy crash course real quick? What do we need? What should we be looking at? And what time of the year? Sound like a spring or summertime fruit.
So yeah, it's definitely gonna do better in the summer. So I'm in Virginia. I
Mhm.
normally plant at this point. I've gotten it down to somewhat of a science. I plant in the first or second week of May, and it's gonna depend on your growing area and your first frost and last frost.
Mm.
Um, but for me, honestly, I grow them in bags. And so that's where the way you can kind of keep the moisture controlled, you can keep the nutrients controlled. But I
Okay.
mean, you can grow it however. I've had my biggest success growing in bags and also keeping it to 1 liter,
Okay.
because you have two different types of tomatoes. Basic ones is a indeterminate and a determinate. A determinate is going to grow to a certain height and give you tomatoes. An indeterminate is just going to keep growing. I mean, like they can grow to like 15 feet. They can get
Yikes.
really,
Okay.
really tall.
Yeah.
And so I always grow indeterminate because that'll keep me in tomatoes for the whole summer. But then you have to have a way to stake it, or it's just going to kind of run out all over the ground. But I have my success in growing it in bags. Tomatoes like to have, I think it's phosphorus. And so like bone meal and things like that, or just a balanced feed. And they're going to keep growing. The only thing is they are very prone to disease. So like
Okay.
blight and things like that. But also with tomatoes, you can pull off the lower leaves and it'll just keep growing at the top. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Kind of like a pruning situation. I'll do something at the bottom, it'll keep going up.
Yep, and then I always pull off what they call the suckers that because a tomato will just keep growing new plants out of that one stem. I always pull them off mostly because of the area I'm in, and we get humid, and like I said, they get disease from the heat and moisture. So
Okay. All right, cool. I'm sure you got videos somewhere about this stuff on your YouTube and IG. So we're going to sit there for more details. But I appreciate that crash course right there. If I was just getting started and growing something, what is something that might be kind of fun I might see? Because you know how it is. We see a little success that we're going to keep going. What might be something that might be fun and I may possibly get some success early with to get me going?
So at this time of year is going to be radishes. Radishes, I think I posted about this a few days ago, maybe. Radishes can produce within like between 20, 30 days. And it does not take a lot. Like they don't need a lot of fertilizer and they don't need a lot of care. You can literally put the seed in the ground. Long as you keep the soil moist, they're going to grow. That is what I would tell someone if like right now they're saying, I want a garden, it's getting cold, what should I do? Radishes. And you will grow them so quickly. I roast them, don't eat them raw, but yeah.
That's what's up. So radishes to get us, that's our starter veggie.
Yes, radishes will get you, and if you're, starting in fall, radishes will get you to become a gardener.
That's what's up. All right, cool. So now I know we're going to start our garden with radishes.
Yes. And that's another one that has so many different varieties. All we see in the store is the little red one. But there's so many different types of radishes too.
That's what's up. What was the most challenging thing that you've grown so far?
It's got to be watermelon, except I still haven't grown it.
Talk to me about this rascally watermelon.
I plant it every year, and I never actually get a watermelon. So I'm going this year, in the off season, I'm going to do some research. I'm not sure if I'm not watering enough, or if I don't have all of the nutrients. But I literally never grow it. That's my challenging vegetable. And beets for whatever reason. They're planted now. I'm probably not going to get it.
We gonna pray for your watermelons at least. All right, cool. Now we see the skin is glowing. Is this courtesy of these loofas you grown? I didn't know loofah was a real plant. I thought it was just something I got on Amazon for the store. You growing face washes?
Yeah. So face washes, sponges to clean things with loofah, they don't taste delicious in my opinion, because they are also edible. If you get them small, if you harvest them small, they're edible. And I tried it; it was not for me. But yeah, I'm growing loofah. That's one of those exciting ones. It's just fun to grow, but also it's useful because I think they're so fun to grow. Those will be picked tonight too, or they'll be done in the falls. But yeah, I am growing those. So I use them for my body and to like clean the house. You can use it for ivy.
So was that challenging to grow too, loofah?
So I have not had an issue with loofah. So they take a long time to grow. I plant them out when I plant everything else out in May. But they don't start actually showing loofah or producing loofah until like almost end of July, early August. So they are long in my experience. It's a long growing plant, but it will grow right up until your first frost. So that's a good thing if you have if you're in a long growing season, an area where you have a long growing season.
Yeah. Now, you've named about 433 things that you've grown, right? And I'm excited because you're also a small space homesteader. So it's not like you own 15 acres out there. You growing all this stuff either your backyard or in bags or in your kitchen or using your hydroponics. Tell people like they don't, like if you could just give somebody words of encouragement that may be in an apartment or may just be in a townhome or something like that.
Yeah, so I always say if you can grow it in the ground, you can grow it in a pot, a bag, or a container. And that's like a tote, grow bags. You can grow it. And I think people think that you need like sun all day long. When they say full sun, they're talking like 6 to 8 hours. And so if you can grow it in the ground, you can more than likely grow it in a pot. And I say give it a chance, give it a try. Like get one tomato start from the store. And then I think people also sometimes think you got to start big, and you don't. By the time that you get to like what my backyard looks like, it's been 3 years. So just start wherever you can with the amount of space you have and just go for it. Because you will be surprised. You're going to be surprised at the taste. You're going to be surprised at how peaceful it is. You're going to be surprised at how much you're just going to enjoy it. I always say I should have started gardening a long time ago.
But we glad you're doing it now, sharing your journey with us. Like that's how, like I said, we got to meet you, and you got me excited, ready to grow some stuff. You like part of the community too, man. So we appreciate everything you're doing and sharing with the world.
Oh, you're welcome. I appreciate you having me today.
For sure. You and your daughter keep making the videos. Y'all be having us cracking up.
Yeah, she's sitting here now.
That's definitely what's up, man. Thank you again for joining the show. I think you kind of gave us everything, like as much as you could give us. I want everybody to follow you. Tell them where to find you on social media too.
Okay, so on Instagram, I am at Miss, and that's MS Asia ASIA Spratley SPRATLEY on Instagram, and then on YouTube, I am at Yellow Door Urban Homestead.
That's what's up. All right, if you had, just say you were able to live your dream and just get a big old farm and just could grow anything. If you had to pick one thing that you had to grow, what would that one thing be?
Potatoes.
Potatoes?
Yes.
Okay.
I absolutely like potatoes is one of those things. It's you're digging up treasure every time you dig it. And so
You
I
like
would
to dig too.
Yeah, I
I
do.
see you out there. I see you.
I
You got your little headlamp on, and then I see you.
Yeah. It would be potatoes. That's what I would grow.
That's definitely what's up. All right, and if you could pick one type of chicken you could get, like you had a bunch of chickens you can get, you could just pick one, what would it be? What breed would it be?
I think it would be the majestic Moran. And maybe because I'm on a high from the new eggs. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think it would be the majestic Moran.
That's what's up. All right, so we got potatoes and majestic Morans in your future. We're gonna speak it into existence. We appreciate you, Mama.
Oh yeah. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's been another excellent adventure. Make sure y'all check out the Yellow Door Urban Homestead too, online across all social media platforms. We gone.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Eggcellent Adventures, powered by BlackYard Chickenz.
Now, if you think you want to raise your own backyard flock, here's the site for you, BlackYardChickens.com. We make entertaining videos about raising baby chicks from scratch. You know what I mean by from scratch, right? Or maybe you want to learn how to take care of your own big chickens or hens and get those fresh eggs, building a coop or buying a coop, having the necessary things inside that coop to get great egg production. You'll learn a lot of the neat tricks I've picked up along the way from other chicken enthusiasts, and you can get pretty eggs just like those. So follow us on social media and check us out on our YouTube channel.